What is going on, everybody? We're here and we are live for a Sports Wars Sunday. It's myself and Fear the Beardo, who is remote, on location, backup systems deployed. What's going on, Beardo?
This is true, man. I'm trying to, jerry rig this whole thing, but I'm good. I'm on a top secret mission, but I wouldn't miss Sports Wars, man. So hope you're doing well.
There we go. We got Hercules in the chat for $1.99. Probably late and gay due to Beardo. Just slightly. Someone says my mic sounds weird. All right, let me check my mic.
Oh, no.
I mean, it might just be, it's on my webcam for some reason. How about, I understand why that is. I fucking lost power last night, and so my Rodecaster was still powered down. I will fix it. I'll fix it. Where are we?
Here we go.
There you go.
Check. Does that sound a little bit better?
A lot better.
Better? All right. Actually, I had to turn on the power source. That would help. So now it should be good. Our man Dom with 5 Sports Wars memberships. Dom, who is out in Denver at Denver Fan Expo the past little bit. Thank you, Dom. We appreciate that.
Shout out.
John Matrix not going to be here because he's got a fucking hurricane headed for him. So he's getting prepped and stuff like that today. So no John Matrix from Black and White Sports. He's got to get all the water and all the other shit, batteries, supplies, whatever people buy for fucking hurricanes before that thing actually hits land. But I'm just glad it's not coming to fucking Florida, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
All those little countries just got the shit kicked out of them as it went by, and now it's headed for Texas and Mexico. But we'll be okay, at least for now here in Orlando. But I did, before we even get too far into the stream, I wanted to go over something that happened yesterday, kind of a tragedy in the football world.
Yeah.
We had a Vikings rookie cornerback, former Oregon player, set to, finally get to live his dream, and his life gets cut short after a bad car accident, killed several people. And this is not like a Henry Ruggs situation. This is not something like that. Kyrie Jackson was a passenger in the car, and it was the other car's fault. Another lady who apparently has a record of like multiple times got caught and pulled over for speeding over 100 miles an hour in a 55. This is the person who ends up running into their car, driving it off of the road, and killing him and 2 others. So that's just brutal, and that sucks for a guy who's just trying to start living his dream. Have life cut short like that in such a shitty way. I mean, it can happen to anybody, but it just sucks.
Yeah, that really sucks. Talk about a guy whose life is kind of really just getting started with how much work he's put in, about to live out his dream, and then that happens, man. Just an awful story.
Yeah, and I would imagine the woman that was the cause of this car accident, I imagine she's gonna get fucked. And rightfully so. The police did say they think alcohol may have been a factor for the person who caused the accident as well. Again, Kyrie Jackson was just a passenger. He wasn't even driving the car, which I don't know if that makes it more or less tragic, but it just is what it is. And obviously so many people, including his former Minnesota Vikings, made a statement. His former Oregon coach made a statement. A lot of people who were excited to see this kid get to play in the NFL, put out all their RIPs and thoughts and prayers yesterday. So very, very sad and tragic situation. Corey Klingman was this person, was trying to change lanes at speed when she hit the car carrying Minnesota Vikings rookie cornerback Kyrie Jackson.
Wow.
So no fault of his own or anything, just one of those unfortunate situations.
A freak accident.
Yes, freak accident. So I wanted to get that out of the way because obviously that's pretty serious. And thoughts and prayers for his family and friends and the Vikings and everybody involved. Giga Mango Fanta for 5. If you guys had each other over for a meal, what would you make each other? What the fuck?
That's
breakfast. I'm not. This is a gay ass fucking question. Breakfast, lunch, or din with or without liquor to drink. I'm not gonna make a meal for another man. So
that's gay.
Yeah, but
Thanks
thanks
for
for
the
the super
$5.
chat. But yeah, that's gay as shit. Gay as shit. Anyway, we got to get into the most highly anticipated debut of the season, and that is, of course, Bronny James. LeBron got everything he wanted. LeBron's Lakers, just like he always did, he gets the coach he wanted. JJ Redick comes in there. They draft his son when nobody else was really going to draft him in the NBA draft. Certainly wouldn't give him a contract like the Lakers gave him. But because of all of the attention, LeBron James has forced so much attention on Bronny James going back 2 years. That's why we're where we are now, with him forcing the Lakers to draft him, with him having all this media attention. And of course, in his first NBA debut, it didn't go so well, but there was a lot of attention on it. ESPN was covering every single dribble, every single turnover, every single missed shot and missed free throw, because Bronny James is the story. Bronny James struggles in Lakers Summer League debut, and ESPN's getting called out for this pretty hard, because it's true. The Lakers, or Bronny James' debut at the Lakers, was like the top story on ESPN. The premier thing. They were for the entirety of the time, they were tracking all the stats. And a lot of people think ESPN completely fucking embarrassed themselves with this summer league coverage. The reason being, Bronny James didn't exactly have a great night. He scored 4 points, 2 of 9 from the field, 0 of 3 for 3-pointers, and 0 of 2 at the free throw line over 22 minutes played in a 108-94 loss. Now, listen, these summer league games, it's whatever. It doesn't really matter, right? It's just ways for guys with not a lot of experience can get their feet under them, do stuff like this. But all of this, this is what ESPN spent all their time on yesterday. But this is a result of LeBron James putting all this pressure on his son.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the game. I seen a few highlights that see Bronny James kind of get put on ice skates while he was playing defense. This is exactly. I think this is the play right here. Yep.
Yeah, that was the highlight. The Bronny James highlight is him getting shook. Him getting shook in the first quarter of his NBA debut. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, just like guys used to, really make a name for themselves in the G League. I remember Alex Caruso used to play in the Lakers G League for several years, and the dude was doing pretty damn well. And then, he found a roster spot on the Lakers and did pretty well up in the league as well. So we'll see if Bronny can get acclimated, but that is a rough start.
It is. And again, we've talked about this a lot. I would say that Bronny James is not really at fault for virtually any of this. This is all the result of LeBron James hyping him up, of LeBron James essentially holding himself hostage and saying, I won't re-sign unless you draft my son so I can play with my son. He ends up getting a contract that probably is not deserved. This is a guy who did not have a good season last year. For a pretty bad USC team, he didn't play well, scored less than 5 points a game. And this is who he is. And the idea that he was even drafted was kind of puzzling to pretty much every other team in the NBA. But now you've got everybody on board. Bronny James has all the attention in the world. All the attention that LeBron James brings is now on his son, which some of it's going to be there anyway. That's his name. He's obviously his kid. But it's made far worse by LeBron James' antics. And now to have this just disastrous debut, you don't want to feel pressure in your summer league games, but already that's probably what Bronny's starting to feel.
Yeah, and it's not fair. It's not fair to the kid. And we said this before. Bronny has nothing. He hasn't created this himself. Obviously, not with his play on the court, but it's all because of the media, and LeBron James are the ones who are putting this target on this young man's back. And I feel bad for the kid.
I feel a little bad as well, but I mean, listen, the benefits that come with being LeBron James kids, there's also going to be challenges that come with it. I would imagine the benefits, like being drafted when you probably shouldn't have been, multi-millionaire, like all this stuff, probably outweighs the negatives of being LeBron James kid. But I saw a comment in chat that Bronny James is better than his dad at one thing. He can actually read. That might be true. Bronny James can probably read a book. Don't know if he ever has, but I would imagine he actually could. So that is a little bit of a step up. A little bit of a step up from his dad there. Jonathan Bordeaux, member for 13 months. Does Zeltroid want to talk about the Lakers? Probably not. Not sure. Mike Hill for 5. First trailer for Brad Pitt's F1 racing movie has been released. It will be out next summer. Yeah, I saw that. It's been a while since I saw a trailer with We Will Rock You music in the background. But yes, the Brad Pitt's F1 movie costs like $350 million or some shit. It's crazy.
Damn.
I think it was made for Apple, but it's still going to be like released in theaters. That's way too much fucking money to spend on virtually any movie, especially an F1 racing movie. I just don't think it's going to work that well.
That's crazy.
Tank for $1. Watch how different the media treats Bronny James and Caitlin Clark. Very telling. Well, we've got a Caitlin Clark story to talk about today because, you know, the Rookie of the Year race is heating up between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And shockingly enough, a lot of ESPN black commentators think Angel Reese is the Rookie of the Year because the Sky have a better record than the Indiana Fever, apparently. That's what determines Rookie of the Year. By the way, they're right next to each other in the rankings. So don't worry. We're going to talk about that shit. Beardo, being a baseball guy, you watched Manny Machado's walk-off last night?
I did not. I was at an event, so I did not get to watch Manny Machado's walk-off.
Now, I was a little skeptical when the Padres spent so much fucking money to like sign Manny Machado and stuff. And, you know, he's been up and down, but he certainly delivered a lot for the Padres as well in this landscape of paying these superstars just fucking $30+ million a year. He definitely delivered for the Padres last night. Manny Machado, he hit a massive clutch walk-off bomb last night. And
hell yeah.
Even though it's not even past the All-Star break yet, and baseball season really hasn't quite heated up, this is an important game. You know, they're sitting there in contention for a wild card spot. The Diamondbacks are a little bit on their heels and would have been a big game. But Manny Machado says, nah, I'm going to end it in the 9th.
In the air to deep left field. That ball is back, and it's headed into a sea of San Diegans.
Boom. Massive walk-off bomb.
That's awesome.
That was awesome, but it was the aftermath that really drew people's eyes. This is just a hint for anybody. If you want to go on the field to take a picture with somebody, with a professional athlete, just probably don't. You're going to get fucking tased. You're going to get tackled. You're going to get laid out. Something bad is probably going to happen to you, and that's what we saw. A Padres fan ran on the field with Manny Machado, or Manny Machado accidentally started celebrating with him. Watch how this ends up. Just immediately fucking tackled. Manny's like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? Listen to the announcers.
2 points for a takedown.
Oh, man. Would you ever do something like that? Has it ever crossed your mind? Have you ever had like a moment where you thought to yourself, I should run on the field and do something?
No, never. It's never crossed my mind. And I'm on the same team as you are, where these storming the field or storming the court celebrations have become way too normalized. They happen way too often. And no, I mean, it looks like a kid, or maybe it's just a little man. I don't know. Just looks like a kid.
He's probably in his like early 20s or some shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
This thought has never crossed my mind. Maybe it's because I played sports growing up, and it's like I know how to behave myself. I went to ball games when I was a kid, like often. So I just know how to behave myself. I know the etiquette. I know what is a dumb fucking move to do and how you should just stay in your lane. So, I mean, this kid just made a dumb mistake. So this is what you don't do.
Yeah, I mean, he's lucky that nothing worse happened to him other than that, to be honest. But I totally agree with you in terms of when you see big upsets and fans rushing the court or storming the field. it's become way too social media-ized, where like they want to be a part of it. They want to have their cell phone out. They want to show that they're on there. So you have these teams where, oh my gosh, our ranked team beat another like ranked team, not like rivals, not anything crazy, not even massive upsets, just people coming up with reasons to storm the field or storm the court, which I think is bullshit. And once you do see a couple people get injured, remember, was it the Duke player that got injured on the court? I think he was able to play the next year, but it did look like he tweaked his knee or something.
Yeah.
Like when that shit starts happening, they're going to start really pushing back and banning it, especially now, whether it's in professional or college, when there's money on the line for these guys, when these fucks are getting paid millions of dollars from what is it? NIL money. Like,
right.
They're just they're going to try to protect their assets.
Yeah.
But I did think this was kind of funny, though. So you made us laugh, but you also are probably banned from all future Padres games. Sorry, buddy. Probably not worth it.
Sorry, dude.
I hate that like so many of the people that put paint on like famous paintings or who is it? The fucking environmental people. The environmental people that'll like run out in the middle of the Super Bowl and like cause a distraction and shit. I hate those motherfuckers. It just makes me want to see the world burn. Like, it makes me just want to pollute the planet. I don't give a fuck about your cause. If you're interrupting my sporting event, it doesn't matter what you wanted to accomplish. I hate you.
Yeah, they're losers.
Eco-terrorists. Yes, the eco-terrorists out there. Agreed.
They'll like glue themselves to the street. They'll glue themselves to a piece of painting, or they'll just like dump orange paint on the on Stonehenge.
Yeah, I just want to see all of them like run over by cars, when they're doing these protests.
Yeah.
I want your entire cause to fail. I want I'm not really worried about global warming or anything like that. I think the Earth's pretty fine, but I want it to burn now. I want it to happen just to piss these people off because they suck. Let's see. Beardo's throat has been abused, says LL Cool Aid. I think it's the mic. I think it's the mic.
Probably the mic.
Are you on your phone or something? Is that what's going on?
I am.
See, there you go. He's on the phone. Shout out to our Rumble audience. We got over 500 people watching over there. We've got over 600 people watching here on YouTube. Hercules for 199. Beardo being the water boy is not playing sports. Hey, tell that to Bobby Boucher.
Thanks for the donation.
Listen, Bobby Boucher, best motherfucking player on the field. He started as a water boy.
Yeah, what a stud.
What a stud. What if aren't we getting a Happy Gilmore too?
We are getting a Happy Gilmore too. I'm looking forward to that. And apparently they're getting everybody to come back, except for obviously Carl Weathers, but everybody that's still alive, they're getting to come back.
I so don't want that to happen, but
it doesn't need to happen.
It doesn't need to, but maybe it's good and it'd be cool. What about I guess it's too late to do a water boy too. He couldn't be playing in the NFL probably. When did that movie come out? In mid-90s?
Waterboy? Yeah, early 90s, maybe mid-90s.
Just do a fucking Waterboy sequel while you're at it. He'll be his last season in the NFL. He played till he's 50 or something. It might as fucking well. All anybody's doing now are sequels and bullshit and stuff like that. So.
Well, what was the one? What was the other football movie he did? It's not the Gridiron Gang. It was the
Longest Yard.
The Longest Yard. The Longest Yard is the
remake.
sequel to the Waterboy.
That was the end result. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the end result.
I didn't mind Longest Yard. I thought it was decent.
Longest Yard, the remake. Yeah, the Longest Yard with Adam Sandler is a good movie. That's a good sports movie for sure.
We do have to talk about Caitlin Clark because obviously the Caitlin Clark has changed the dynamic when you're talking about women's basketball. Quite frankly, no one talked about women's basketball for the past 2 decades. And now they are. Doesn't mean the WNBA is profitable. Doesn't mean the WNBA is going to make money, but they are significantly, they're being talked about more than they ever have been in their history. And that's a direct result of Caitlin Clark. However, in the Caitlin Clark fiasco, there's another person, that's Angel Reese, who the media has decided is going to be their bell cow, the person they're rooting for against Caitlin Clark. Not sure why this is, not sure why so many people at ESPN and so many black commentators have Angel Reese's back instead of Caitlin Clark's. I can't imagine why that would be. But now that the WNBA season is in full swing, we have people who are saying who they think should be the rookie of the year. And despite Caitlin Clark's numbers, and despite Caitlin Clark changing the entire game, and despite the betting odds in Vegas being very clearly on Caitlin Clark, you have a lot of commentators who are voicing their opinions the other way, that they think that Angel Reese should be the rookie of the year, including this person. Anti-Caitlin Clark ESPN pundit moves rookie of the year goalpost to favor Angel Reese. And it's all from this clip here. Monica McNutt, the same person that Stephen A. Smith got in a massive argument about when it came to Caitlin Clark, and all this shit we've seen Caitlin Clark going through, all these women in the WNBA, all these women in the mainstream media trying to tear her down because she's a straight white female who happens to be good at basketball. And just listen to her thought process for when it comes to Rookie of the Year.
I have said this all season, BC. My Rookie of the Year is going to go based on the standings.
Okay.
Because I think that is how you have the opportunity to measure impact.
And the sky's right above
And
them.
the Sky right now are in the playoffs, so you'd have to give the nod in my mind to Angel Reese. Look, the double-double.
This is the way I'm going to go. I'm going to use the standings. That's going to be the way that I judge things. It would be one thing if the Chicago Sky were like the best team in basketball, had a massive turnaround or something like that. You want to look at these standings and see what the big difference between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky. Chicago Sky ranked 7th out of fucking, what is this, 12 teams? By the way, there's only 12 teams in the WNBA. 8 of them make the playoffs. So the idea that someone made the playoffs should not be like, oh my God, they're so great. Right below them's the Indiana Fever. Like, you can't make this shit up. Chicago Sky, Indiana Fever, right now, if the season ended today, both would be in the playoffs. And in most statistical categories, Caitlin Clark's dominating Angel Reese. Angel Reese gets more rebounds, but Caitlin Clark is having a season unlike anything we've ever seen. And it's funny because in the immediate aftermath of all these different commentators suddenly weighing in saying Angel Reese should be supported, Angel Reese should be the Rookie of the Year, what did Caitlin Clark go do? The first triple-double for an NBA rookie or a WNBA rookie in history. 19 points, 13 assists, 12 rebounds.
That's awesome.
It's such a joke. And Angel Reese is even retweeting the Chicago Sky saying the front runner for Rookie of the Year. This is the next big controversy that people in the woke mainstream media are trying to put out there, that Angel Reese should be the Rookie of the Year ahead of Caitlin Clark to get some kind of own.
Yeah, they're reaching. They're reaching for. They're pushing the goalpost back, and they're reaching for whatever kind of narrative that they can to spin it in Angel Reese's direction. Anything that they can take away from Caitlin Clark, any extra measurement that they can use against Caitlin Clark, they're going to use it. They're going to exhaust the fuck out of it. Even though, Caitlin Clark clearly, I think, is the front runner. Like you said, the Vegas odds are on Caitlin Clark. They're doing everything they can to spin whatever kind of narrative. And now they're taking the record of the team into account. I mean, I remember when Alex Rodriguez won MVP of the league on the Texas Rangers, and the Rangers were the worst team in the MLB. How many times has Mike Trout or Shohei Ohtani won MVP with the Angels when the Angels are just absolute garbage? Like, you don't need to be the MVP or Rookie of the Year on a great team that makes a deep playoff run. That's usually not how it works.
Yeah, and I think that when you are talking about things like MVP, I'm not going to deny that you do take other things into effect sometimes. Oftentimes, it might not end up, especially in the NBA or something, might not be the best player, but it might be a player on the best team that had like an incredible season or whatever, right? So sometimes we see this. And it would be one thing if the Chicago Sky were the best team in the league and the Fever were the worst team, and maybe that was because of the addition of Angel Reese, but none of that's fucking true. Right? They have almost identical records. The Chicago Sky have basically not improved since last year with their record. This is right where they were last year. Indiana Fever were the 3rd worst team in the league. So they've gotten a little bit better. But guess who was Rookie of the Year last year? a person for the Indiana Fever who had the third worst record in the league. So the idea that they're trying to reframe all this stuff, and just because they can't win on the stats, and you can even see some of this right here, just because they can't win when you look at the actual numbers, when you look at the head-to-head, when you look at these stats, because Angel Reese can't win that way, they're trying to give her, well, you know, her team's right ahead of them in the standings. And that's really the big difference in my mind. It's just such bullshit. And people can see right through it. And the one thing to worry about is I don't know who the WNBA Rookie of the Year voters are. I don't know who these people are. I don't know if they're former players. I don't know if they're people in the media. I don't know who all has a vote. But I know one thing, there's going to be a lot of people in the media that are voting specifically for someone, not because of their play on the floor, but because of identity politics and because of all this racial bullshit. Like, that's 100% going to happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised whenever the voting is for the WNBA Rookie of the Year, if it is Angel Reese, simply because of these identity politics, and to do anything they can to take it away from Caitlin Clark and give it to their precious lesbian black ladies in the WNBA.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. And it's not to say that Angel Reese has had like a dog shit season. I mean, when you look at these numbers, it's WNBA, right? But not to say that she's had like a dog shit season or anything like that. But the idea that she's like, oh, clearly the front runner, that's just not the case. Caitlin Clark is the front runner. Her numbers back it up. Caitlin Clark somehow averages more blocks per game than fucking Angel Reese does. Not sure how that's possible. But we've also never seen anybody have a season period in the WNBA like Caitlin Clark is having. When you look at, she's, you know, top 15, closing in on top 10, just kind of depends on what week you look in terms of scoring. And she's top 5. She's damn near leading the league in assists, as well as averaging over 5 rebounds a game from the point guard position. So the idea that she is not the front runner is wild. For some of these people to come out there and try to claim.
Yep.
Angel Reese's Sid from Ice Age. Yeah, she's got a weird face.
Like, a lot of them do.
Really weird face. Emilio. What's up, Emilio? With 10 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Emilio.
Thank you, Emilio. And for the 10 new members.
Shout out.
10 new members in there. Yeah, exactly. 15, 5, and 5 has never been done in the WNBA, which is kind of insane that that's like the low benchmark for WNBA play in general. But it's true. Like, that's not, I don't think that's ever been done. And Caitlin Clark's doing it in her rookie season.
That's great.
You know, which is, it tells you a lot about the WNBA in general, but also tells you a lot about Caitlin Clark. And again, even later in that clip, Mana McNutt is like, well, you know, the biggest ratings are when Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark get together. So you got to give them both their laurels. You know, Angel Reese is a big part of this too. Failing to mention that every other highly rated game has nothing to do with Angel Reese, and it's all about Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Kind of weird how that works. Oh, and by the way, that triple-double that she had, it was to take down the New York Liberty, who are the best team in the league. So game from them. Definitely a statement game. It's still baffling. It's still baffling to me that you have 12 teams in the WNBA. It's still pretty fucking funny.
You know what? They should have stormed the court. They should have stormed the court when Caitlin Clark had that triple double and they beat the Liberty. They should have stormed the court. Why not?
Like, New York Liberty, Connecticut Sun, Minnesota Lynx, Seattle Storm, Vegas Aces, Phoenix Mercury at 10-10 are the 6th seed right now. I guess that makes sense because there's 12 teams in the league, so they would be average. That does make sense.
Yeah.
But the idea of using that is like these WNBA analysts. Well, you know, I got to go, you know, the Chicago Sky, they in the playoffs. I got to go with them. That's a big thing. Is it really a big thing to be? Because when she made this argument, Chicago Sky were 8 and Indiana Fever were 9, just out of the playoffs. Like that, it should be the difference maker. It's just so stupid.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking stupid. Caitlin Clark has not moved my give a fuck meter about the WNBA. I'll be honest. I don't feel like I don't have the burning desire to run out and like catch a WNBA game. It is undeniable that she's had a big impact. She's effectively tripled the ratings. She's selling out everywhere she goes. She's even like forcing some people to get out of like the high school gyms that they usually compete in and like use the NBA gyms or the NBA stadiums that are in their cities that they never use because they can't fill out.
Yeah.
It is a game changer. I just don't know if it's going to be enough for the WNBA long term because I don't know how long this Caitlin Clark effect is going to last. I don't necessarily see the hype continuing the way it has. Not that she's going to be bad or anything, but I just don't see the attention is going to be on her all the time like it has been. But ESPN's astroturfed this the whole way, so I'm sure they'll try to keep it up.
The WNBA got real lucky that their draft was right after the women's college basketball season with all this Caitlin Clark hype. They had the WNBA draft, and then they started playing right away for their new team. So this Caitlin Clark hype has been going on since before March, and they're still riding this Caitlin Clark hype. But now they're trying to make it the Angel Reese Caitlin Clark hype. But the WNBA got real lucky that it was like back to back to back. We get Caitlin Clark throughout all of this and get to ride this hype train.
Yeah, and ESPN got lucky as well because they've been pushing WNBA for like years because they did get that exclusive contract with them and a lot of other reasons, virtue signaling, all this stuff. ESPN's been pushing the WNBA hard the past few years to like no success, right? Not even Brittany Griner getting imprisoned in Russia could really do much to move the needle for the WNBA. But they finally got an actual athlete who lights everything up, who people are interested in watching. It's a compelling story, all this shit. And so many people just want to take a shit on her. It's really fucking crazy. But these women in the WNBA would rather be victims and keep getting paid shit for the rest of their lives than embrace the Caitlin Clark effect.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very strange decisions.
Yep.
Very strange decisions. Have you seen the because we were talking a little bit about the Lakers. We were talking about Bronny. LeBron James signed a new contract with the Lakers. And he took less money, Beardo. He's a team player. He took less money. He got like a 2-year, $104 million contract, something like that. I might be a little bit off on those numbers, but it was like $1.4 million less than he could have had. So LeBron James really showing that he's a team player. Now, I think he would have taken less, but unfortunately, the Lakers couldn't get any of the free agents they wanted. Klay Thompson leaves Golden State. He's going to the Dallas Mavericks. DeMar DeRozan ends up in Sacramento. And it's funny that the Lakers failed to get DeMar DeRozan because he wanted to go there a few years ago. And LeBron James chose Russell Westbrook instead.
Yeah.
But
so
LeBron, definitely team guy, though, taking less money. Go ahead.
They're just riding with the same crew that they had last year, plus Bronny.
Pretty much, yes. And I don't think Bronny's going to get really any playing time. Like, you can't. Like, it can't be that much. It just can't be that much. He's just not at a level where that makes sense. Most guys who are second-round draft picks don't end up being like, a lot of them don't even end up on the roster. A lot of them end up in the G League or whatever, you know? So I don't know. I think he'll be on the roster. I just don't think he's going to play. I think he's just going to sit there on the bench.
I mean, how much of these NBA contracts are guaranteed?
Well, for second-round draft picks, at the place where Bronny is, not too many of them. Only a handful of second-round picks, end up having actual guaranteed contracts. Most of them end up being 2 ways for, $500,000, $1 million, something like that. Bronny's is a 3-year guaranteed with a 4th-year team option. And he's one of only a few second-round draft picks that get that. The difference is a lot of those other guys probably could have been drafted by other teams. Bronny, not so much.
Yeah. And then LeBron, I mean, he's making over $50 million a year. Like, That is absolutely insane. These NBA salaries are ridiculous. They're getting ridiculous. You got guys coming off the bench who are making more money than Michael Jordan ever did.
The thing is, and you know, that's the way it is. You know what I mean? And to be fair, the NBA right now, despite not as many people watching the NBA, whether you talk about regular season or playoffs or whatever, because of the marketing deals, because of the TV deals, because of all this shit, the NBA is making an ungodly amount of fucking money, which is why these guys are being able to get paid $50 million to a dude who's 40 fucking years old. But
yeah,
the interesting thing about the WNBA is that they do have that like max salary, which is a little bit different than all these other leagues, right? Like written in with the details in the fine print in the collective bargaining agreement, depending on this year, how long you've been with the team, how long you've been, you're eligible for a certain number. So the Lakers couldn't say offer LeBron James $100 million to stay, right? They wouldn't. You're not allowed to do that, even if they did have room in the cap. But if you do re-sign with your team instead of going to another, there are additional incentives because they wanted to stop the super team movement, which they haven't stopped that shit at all.
No.
Everybody's just hopping from team to team to team.
The only time I remember them stopping it was Chris Paul and Dwight Howard, from Chris Paul going to the Lakers, and he went to the Clippers instead.
Yeah,
but that wasn't Silver. That was David Stern.
That was David Stern. They stopped the trade because they owned the Pelicans or the Hornets or whatever the fuck they currently were at the time. Yeah, didn't let that shit happen. Virtual reality fitness. Yeah, Jason Tatum got $312 million for 5 years. Like, yeah, these are just the numbers now, and they're pretty nuts. They're pretty nuts. Hercules, Bronny has black privilege and nepotism. Well, doesn't hurt. But Ryan, the WNBA is expanding to 14 teams with a team in San Fran and Toronto. At least there's going to be a lot of lesbians in all those cities that'll be able to go. 2 more teams that won't make money. That's good business. Yeah, I don't know how much longer they're going to continue to operate it because the NBA is committed to their virtue signal. It's like the NBA has them there so they can say, look at what we're doing. We care about women and women's sports and equality. We're going to pay out $50 million a year just to cover their losses.
Yep.
It just is what it is. Football season is finally almost going to be here soon. It's kind of crazy how quickly it's coming around. Yep. How are the Giants going to do?
I don't want to talk about it. The Giants are going to be mid. They're always mid or terrible, and I think we're going to be mid. We'd be lucky to get a wild card spot. I think it's possible, but we need a lot of help. It's been our Achilles heel for several years, going back to Eli Manning. Our offensive line always fucking sucks. Our offensive line, you can't do anything back there. And I've been seeing some clips of the Giants with their off-season hard knocks that they're doing, where it's kind of just like front office, general managing stuff. And I seen this clip of Joe Schuhan talking with some of the coaches, and coaches are like, hell, what's going to happen if we lose Saquon? And then I think this was before Saquon made his decision. And Joe Schuhan, our general manager, was like, listen, we're paying Daniel Jones $40 million. We're not paying him $40 million to hand off to a $12 million running back. We need a better offensive line, and we're going to let Daniel Jones kind of do his thing. Because Daniel Jones, we talked about this. Daniel Jones is kind of like Trevor Lawrence. Him and Trevor Lawrence, for like their first 4 years in the league, have damn near the same stats. But there's a completely different narrative for Trevor Lawrence than there is for Daniel Jones. And is that because Daniel Jones looks funny? Is that because he tripped over his own 2 feet when he was running against the Eagles? Is it because he's ugly? Is it because he plays for New York? There's a lot of things that go into it for reasons why people might hate Daniel Jones. But him and Trevor Lawrence are virtually the same fucking quarterback. And Daniel Jones, just 2 years ago, played really fucking well. Did he earn to get paid? Yeah, he earned it. Did as much as he's being paid? No, I don't think so. But I think the Giants have a shot at a wild card. I still think it's the Eagles and Cowboys division to lose.
It's tough. I mean, now it's a little bit easier with 7 teams in the fucking playoffs or whatever. But yeah, that old NFC East. Usually everybody ends up right around 500.
Yep.
Not that 500 is possible in today's NFL anymore, but everybody ends up right around that space. I like, as a Bears fan, I wish I could say I'm like excited or hyped or something for this season. I'm not like excited or hyped, but I'm a cynical Bears fan. I am desperately hoping that we finally have a quarterback who can do something. And if that means he gets fucked in the ass by a boyfriend every night, you know what I mean? As long as you just go out there, get me 30 touchdowns, get me 4,500 yards, and I think it's a possibility. I think it can happen. I'm not going to say I have hope, because as soon as I'm a Bears fan and said I have hope, they're immediately going to like take that away and crush me with it.
Think the Bears have a chance of going to the playoffs this year?
I certainly wouldn't bet on it, but maybe outside shot, but I don't think so. I think that I think there's a chance that we go, 9-8. So I guess who knows how it shakes out. Maybe that is a playoff maker, but I think that's like the cap on the season.
Who's the best team in the NFC? Who's the number 1 seed in the NFC?
I mean, are we going to say it's not the San Francisco 49ers or the Eagles? Like,
I think you can throw in the Lions into that mix.
Yeah, Lions. I think the Eagles are going to fall off a little bit. Like, we already saw that happen last season. We saw that really things were way harder, more difficult for them last year than they were the year prior. With, I think, more people catching on to how limited Jalen Hurts truly is. And I think we're really going to see even more of a fallback than they had last year. But it's hard for me to bet against San Francisco, just based on what they've been able to do. As long as those guys stay healthy, it's tough to bet against them for the number 1 seed.
I kind of think Nick Sirianni might be coaching for his job. I think Nick Sirianni might be on the hot seat if the Eagles, if they have another early exit in the playoffs, because Tampa Bay knocked them out first round. I think if they have another one of those, I think Nick Sirianni, might be a good bet for him, maybe getting fired.
I fucking hate Nick Sirianni.
I'm not a fan either.
I just fucking hate him. Like, when people say like punchable face, it's Nick Sirianni, but it's not just his face, it's how he acts. He's just such a fucking cocky, arrogant piece of shit. And I fucking hate him every time I see him on the sidelines. I like have nothing against the Eagles necessarily, but I do fucking hate Nick Sirianni. And I think Jalen Hurts is way fucking overrated.
Yeah, I think both things are true. I remember in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, Nick Sirianni was like talking shit to Mahomes on the other side, like of the sideline. And there's this clip, and Jalen Hurts has to like calm him down and be like, "Yo, dude, knock it the fuck off. Like, we still have time in this game." Cocky thing for a coach to do. Like, bro, you're a coach.
Yeah.
One thing if a player showboats, or it's another thing like if a player, runs his mouth, but it's like, you're the coach, bro. Like,
he's acting like one of the guys, which is one of the things that can happen, just because this is like over the past, I would say 10 years, we've really seen a push for younger and younger coaches. And I think part of that is trying to replicate, we've got this young QB guru who is like quarterback coach. Let's make him offensive coordinator, immediately fast track him to head coach. So you get these guys who are super young, like they're younger than some of their fucking players out there.
They're trying to do the Sean McVay effect.
Yeah, the Sean McVay effect. You got the Bengals head coach, super young as well.
Matt LaFleur in Green Bay.
Yeah. McCock for $5. Y'all see Baltimore and Oakland game, 8-19 A's. Where's this been the last 20 years? A's haven't been bad for fucking 20 years. Like they really put together some decent teams, less than a decade ago. Even though they weren't spending much money. The Under Armour Gamer. Just want my Blazers to get a new owner, 199. Blazers are going to be rough for a while. Damian Lillard being there was like the chance they had, and they're never going to get that back. I don't think. McCock for 2. Predictions on the All-Star game. The American League will probably win. I don't know.
Yeah, the American League, more than likely.
But like All-Star games are, it's not what it used to be. I used to love fucking MLB All-Star Weekend. I used to love the home run contest. And it's hard for me to fucking care about anymore, which is crazy to me.
It's because it doesn't mean anything. Like the MLB All-Star Game used to be one of the only All-Star games throughout sports that actually meant something because the winner got home field advantage for the World Series. And for the World Series. Like that,
which is
that was
retarded,
cool.
by the way, which is like, it's stupid. Like if my Cubs got to the fucking World Series and we didn't have home field, we had the best record ever, yet we didn't have home field advantage because some fucking wild card American League team ends up winning, who may have had like 1 or 2 All-Stars, and for a game that was played in July, that will determine potentially the outcome of the World Series is retarded. But you're 100% right. It meant something.
Yeah, it actually meant something.
I'm kind of glad they don't do that, but at the same point, now it doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
According to inflation calculators, MJ's $30 million per year, 96-97 is equivalent to 55-60 mil today. So I guess it's not too ridiculous. Yeah, when MJ was getting paid that, I wonder what the second highest paid basketball player in 96 was, because I think MJ was getting significantly more than anybody else. Highest paid NBA player in 1996. Patrick Ewing. So this is crazy. Patrick Ewing was the second highest paid NBA player of, let's see, 95-96 season, earning $18 million, which was more than $15 million for the first time. And then Michael Jordan, the next contract Michael Jordan signed was $30 million. So he was making significantly more than the second highest paid player in the fucking league, who apparently was Patrick Ewing at the time. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Wow.
Horace Grant was getting paid $15 million by Orlando. Jesus fucking Christ. What were they thinking? Anyway. Let's see. AJ Gutrung for 5-minute Bengals fans since Carson Palmer was quarterback. I just want to win 1 Super Bowl.
Listen, if Joe Burrow can stay healthy, he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the AFC. He's one of the only quarterbacks that actually has Patrick Mahomes' number in the playoffs. I think if the Bengals stay healthy, man, and Joe Burrow stays healthy, they have all the tools to do it.
The Under Armour Gamer for 2. Watch out for the Rams this year. I have them 12-5.
The Rams fucking suck.
Can they stay healthy? You know, that's going to be the question, is can they stay healthy? If a healthy Matt Stafford, that's been a difficult thing throughout his entire career, right? And I'm not talking about, he goes out for a whole season. I'm talking about, he's got a busted finger. He's got a tweaked ankle. He's got this. He's got a weird shoulder thing. It just seems like there's constant little things with Matt Stafford that will hold him out of maybe a few games a year, but he's still playing hurt.
Yes.
If he can stay healthy, they've got weapons, you know? But I just don't know. I don't know if the Rams are going to get 12 wins this year. But like now with,
and division is going to be hard.
And Canman just brought it up. Like Aaron Donald retiring is a massive deal.
Yep.
One of the most impactful defensive players at his position not being there is going to be a big deal for them. So,
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that is about it for us. Again, John couldn't join us. Beardo, thanks for joining, even though you're live on location. Over on Rumble, I missed this one for $5. When your league is subsidized by men, you can afford to virtue signal instead of focusing on quality. Hey, very, very true, Wesley. And I think I read this earlier, but I'll repeat it in case I didn't. Tank for $1. Watch how differently the media treats Bronny James to Caitlin Clark. Very telling. Yes. So thanks for our people hanging out on Rumble and on YouTube. Beardo, what do you got going on, man?
Yeah, man, I'm just hanging out, doing my thing, and I'll be back in Orlando tomorrow. So.
Yep. Awesome. Well, sounds good. Thank you for joining us today. We do this every single Sunday at 10:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific. So appreciate you guys for showing up on YouTube and Rumble. We will talk to bro. no Copa or Euro Cup talk. No. Do I look like I give a fuck about soccer? I don't know what the fuck is going on. Copa America, some fucking people got upset. Like some team got upset, but I don't fucking know. That's soccer, bro.
Oh man, what are we doing?
Wake me when a soccer player kneels for the national anthem or something. I'll probably talk about it. But in terms of the day-to-day shit, I'm not a soccer guy. Just not. Yardley Moise for 2. Bronny just sucks. Shaking my head. My goodness, Lakers. Why? I know.
Because they wanted to keep LeBron.
They wanted to keep LeBron James. All right, guys. That's it. We will talk to you next week. Peace.